All right. I think I'm live. I believe I'm live. Let's just double check and make sure I am live. Maybe. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Perfect. So, um, we're not going to waste a lot of time here because it's pretty late and I'm pretty sleepy. But I have in my possession this this masterpiece. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. Which there's lots of things. Obviously, as a Lamentations alumni, I was expecting Mr. Smith to have a nice sewn binding, nice, durable, good book. But I also was pretty well anticipating and counting on uh, the glossy cover. So many things now, they have a matte cover. And it makes it nice to take pictures of because it doesn't like reflect light and you don't get light glare when trying to take videos or pictures of a book. But the downside is that matte finishes, um, if you're not careful, they accrue dust in a way that is irritating. Can make a book feel sticky and grimy. This nice glossy finish is well worth it, I think. Now I'm not going to. Initially, I thought I might like jump around through the PDF and like screen share the PDF. I'm not going to do that because uh, I don't know how much of a book I'm allowed to show on YouTube, but also there are naked people in this book, and I'm on YouTube, so we're not going to do that. Um, I've done a little bit of preemptive work just to make my life easier, and so without further ado, we're going to use on this stream, we're going to use the tables in this book to start making a horror scenario. A module, an adventure, whatever you want to call it. Um, Kind of like we would sit down to make a dungeon or a hex map. We're going to make a horror mystery. I want to center it around werewolves, but I got this idea. So I've been in a werewolf mood lately, and I watched The Howling, which features like a kind of a hippie cult centered around being werewolves. But then also, I watched. It's not Hammer horror. You'd think it's Hammer horror, but it's not. The Blood on Satan's Claw. It's like an English folk horror movie, and it doesn't feature a werewolf, but it does feature these people kind of worshiping this primordial animal god in the woods, and like it's not clear. It's not like they're transforming into a wolf, but like they're performing this ritual, and then people grow like animal hair from their skin, like a patch, and they cut the patch off and they bring it forth to like build this beast god. And I don't know, it's very werewolfy. But basically, I'm gonna use two different uh, monster or horror sections from the book to build this little deck, this little adventure. Um, the lycanthrope, the werewolf, and the cult. So the cult leader and the cultist. So these these cards that you see on my screen, we have uh, Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 18, which is ooh, the moon. These are the cards that make up the deck that the monsters, any like the world, anytime the DM would roll dice, he's going to draw from this deck of cards. And you can tailor a deck to a given scenario so that it's thematically appropriate, so that it's connected. And these special cards, your certain special cards that are associated with the horror, are part of the XP reward system for the game. So by defeating the horror, the players can add cards from that horror to their own deck. And when they use those cards, there are special abilities and perks and buffs and whatever. But mostly, we're just talking about even system agnostic, the generative uh, power that is here. That I really think it's akin to something like you see in Appendix A, B, and C in AD&D, or in the World Generation rules for Traveler. We got a lot. Oh, we got a lot going on here. So I've already pulled the cards that are associated with our respective horrors. So for your cult leader, you have the Ten of Pentacles, and then it's either the High Priestess or the Hierophant. I went with Hierophant. I think the cult leader is a dude for this particular adventure. And then the cultist, like your cult minion, their special card is the Three of Pentacles. And the werewolf, their special card is, of course, the moon. Now, I don't own a tarot deck because I'm a good Christian boy. And so what I've actually done is I bought two regular sets of playing cards at the dollar store, and I modified. I don't know how well you can see that. I like modified some of them to serve as my major arcana cards. And I modified some face cards to add like the page and knight for your face cards in addition to just as opposed to just the jack. Um, yeah, I modified out a deck to build this. So we already have the three, the five, because the Hierophant, the associated number is five. And then we have above 10, we have 18. Now, because we've got that 18 in there, and because I see this, I don't know, I'm in a mood. I think we're going to add actually the Fool here as well. Because the Fool is normally in the player's deck, but the rules specify because the Fool is a 0. Like you can't, it's a losing card. It's always a losing card. And that's your crit fail for the players. But the book mentions that if you want the horror to make mistakes or stumble or having moments of incompetence, you should put the Fool in the horror deck instead. And I'm going to do that because I think it'll be fun. So I've got my Joker here, the Fool, and plus then it gives us 12 items, which I like. I did too much Old Testament studies in college, and now I like things coming in 3s, 7s, 12s, and 40s. But that's besides the point. So we need to fill out the rest of these. So I have here my remaining cards, and this is just your ace through 10. And so it doesn't have any of the face cards, it doesn't have any of the major arcana. But what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle through, and we're going to draw randomly until we get cards that fill the gaps that we have here. And I'll explain why we're doing that in a second. Other thing to note, because I don't have a tarot deck, I have a conversion thing stuck to my wall here for your standard playing card suits to tarot. So spades is swords, diamonds is pentacles, hearts is cups, and clubs is wands. It's arbitrary. I picked it kind of at random. And yeah, spades, blades. All right, so we need an ace, a 2, a 4, a 6, a 7, an 8, and a 9. Okay, 10, 8. 8 of clubs, which is our 8 of course, wands. And 6 of pentacles. 8, no. 3, no. 7 of wands. There. Cards are falling all over the place. The ace of pentacles. Seeing a lot of pentacles here, which, I mean, that's kind of the vibe if we've got a bit of a hammer, Wicker Man cult attached to our werewolf. 9 of cups. So hearts, cups. we'll get we'll get to where we're going here soon. 9 of Cups, and we just need a 4 and a 2. Where are they all hiding? There's our 2 spades, blades, 2 swords, and 4 of wands, clubs. So now I can take these other cards, we can set them aside, we don't need them anymore. I can take my 12 horror cards that I've selected here. I've got them in this nice little stack, and we'll set it aside because we don't actually need to handle it just yet. Yeah, we just don't need to handle it yet. We can set that aside there. And now, before we start generating the people that are attached to this, I think it's just kind of worth it to look over and overview what's going on with werewolves in Demon City, because that's going to help us get our we're going to be able to remember that and think about that as we're generating these results. We're thinking, how can it tie into the core horror, the monster of this werewolf? So he's tied it to the phases of the moon, and not just turn into a wolf on the full moon. So we'll start actually with the new moon, as he does at the top. Only during the night of the new moon and the day after can the werewolf wear a complete outfit of clothes, use human language, or imitate the selves of their former life, or at the very least a drunk, forgetful, distracted version of those selves. Some even manage during these 24 hours to provision their dens with mounds of steak and pay their rent. Then, during the 7 days and nights when the moon is waxing crescent, clothes become intolerable, and speech becomes increasingly difficult. The creature, becomes irritable, growling at any presence like a guard animal. Its memories of the previous month's murder return over the course of the week, and it will begin to hunt animals. On the night of the first quarter, the werewolf schemes, looking for human victims for the coming feast days. It will be capable of both memory and forethought until the moon wanes gibbous. As the moon waxes gibbous for a week, the creature's demeanor is casually criminal and cunning. It will prowl by night, crawling along the rims of rooftops and eating fellow citizens. During the night of the full moon, the lycanthrope is ravenous, eager for flesh, and homicidal beyond all reckoning. She is also physically transforms in the night, taking the form of a wolf with 45 teeth until the sun rises. The week the moon wanes gibbous, the subject is amnesiac, but filled with an inchoate remorse. It will avoid the light and whimper in corners. On the night of the third quarter, the werewolf lies unable to eat, moaning with a pain it cannot describe. Finally, as the moon is waning crescent, the beast becomes anxious and obedient. It will begin to bathe and groom itself to the degree as it is able. Some simple words and phrases come back to them during the 7 days. So his version of the werewolf here is, it's kind of like a permanent, it's like an ongoing state of like anticipatory preparation and entry into this ravenous, bloodthirsty monster, and then amnesiac remorse. And he describes, I can't show the picture here, but someone holed up in a hovel or an apartment surrounded by chewed bones and refuse, and it's this kind of it's I think it's almost Smeagol-ish, this kind of naked cannibalistic wretch prowling at night. Yeah, grim, messy, gnarly, very heavy metal. So keeping that in mind, so we have one person, we already know who on the list here is the werewolf. It is the moon. Each one of these entries is a person. If we flip to the very front of the book, in the end papers on the front, there is a map of all your cards. And for each card, you have a description of a person, you have a description of a place, and you have like a perk that a player will get if they add this card to the deck. The thing we're concerned about is the person and the place. So what we're going to do is we're going to note down what type of person is associated with each card in this horror deck. And then, instead of simply having like the Seven of Wands, having the person and place for the Seven of Wands attached to the same thing, to give it variety and texture and to increase kind of a replayability and prod the imagination, we're going to shuffle the cards and we're going to deal them out and from top to bottom and match. So you might get the location for the Eight of Wands matched to the person for the Two of Swords. We'll link these together. And once we have that, then we can move on to one of my favorite tables in the back of the book that maps NPC relationships and gives a brief description. Very cool stuff. But for now, let's get down to business here. Let's start with the moon. Someone given to passions. Okay. Then moving up, the Ten of Pentacles. A member of a powerful family. Nine of Cups. A jerk, smug of aspect. The Eight of Wands. Online a lot. The Seven of Wands. A fugitive or desperate person. The Six of Pentacles. A charity worker. The Hierophant. A religious leader. Now, the Hierophant, that card is not necessarily our cult leader. The guaranteed cult leader card is the Ten of Pentacles, a member of a powerful family. The Hierophant is somehow connected to the cult leader because that card is an optional or extra card from that horror. So we have to remember that the Hierophant is connected to the cult leader, but is not necessarily the cult leader themselves by the arbitrary rules that I'm using to generate this stuff. All oracles are about systemizing and massaging your results to get what you want. Anyways, the Four of Wands, a family member. The Three of Pentacles. Now remember this, here, let's just mark that. This is our cult member, or like a notable cult member. And our Hierophant is connected to the cult. And the Ten of Pentacles is connected to the cult. Now then. Oh, sorry. Three of Pentacles. A team player. Two of Swords. Dangerously obstinate. The Ace of Pentacles. efficient and practical. And the Fool. A moron, but likable. So we already have with this we have a kind of a cursory look at our relevant people. Something else that I forgot to mention that's in the lycanthrope section is if you have a player who is a werewolf, they say you should like have a player start with the curse on them, but they haven't given into the curse yet. Where, oh, I really hope that my water softener is not too loud here. I think we're good. I think it'll be fine. It's temporary. So we have our 12 people here with a initial view. Now let's connect each of them to a place, and to do that we need to shuffle our cards here. See that I allegedly have viewers. Ostensibly. Interesting. You guys should be in bed. It's late. So I've shuffled my cards here. And I'm going to just go... We went bottom to top before. Now we're going to go from top to bottom. The Eight of Wands, the Online Association. But now, the place for the Eight of Wands is a hydroelectric plant. Then, the Ace of Pentacles, we have the Hierophant, which the place for that, a gray church. The Seven of Wands, a small business or a drug front. I'm not going to decide which to use yet. So we'll just do a slash there. Depends on how things shake out in later steps. The Ace of Pentacles. A place with a strange door. The Fool. A sheer drop. The Two of Swords. Deadly ground. The Ten of Pentacles. A vast estate. Oh. The Three of Pentacles. Ba 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 da. Sorry, what did I get there? Three of Pentacles. Spaced out there. A cathedral or place made of stone. Now, I'm going to be setting this adventure in the city of Ottawa, which is, of course, an old Canadian city, which means there's lots of places made out of stone. If there's one thing that the Canadian Shield has, it is a lot of stone. Oh, I just see Dunder was there with a member of the Nerd Council of Doom. I'm hoping to meet the Dungeon Minister this fall because I'm really hoping to get out to Claricon, the convention that he runs. It's like a 3-hour drive from me, and it would be my first time going to a gaming convention, and I just like his channel a lot. Very cool. All right, 6 of Pentacles. A Goodwill or Salvation Army. Nine of Cups. This is interesting. I'm not sure what to make of this. A vast, proud venture, long in the making. Oh, a reread of 1776. I don't know what that book is, but I do agree with you about rereading. I try to make a point to reread my favorite book at least once a year, sometimes twice, because you notice more. There's things that you may not pick up on a first read through, and revisiting as your perspectives change and as you pick up more knowledge in the world, well worth it. Revisit books. All right, our last one, second last one here for the 10 of Pentacles is a we have the Moon. There we go. Well, I held up both these last two cards at the same time, and I couldn't. If I followed it straight, it would give me the Moon associated with the Moon, and I think that might be boring. But on the other hand, the order of the cards had it where the 10 of Pentacles gets the 4 of Wands, and the Moon gets the Moon. So the question to have is, do I follow the order of the cards and just see where it leads me? Or do I intentionally seek mismatching? Discretion must prevail. Gary did say that. But on the other hand, if I don't roll, if I already know what I want, then why did I roll? I'm going to roll a dice. I've got a d6 here. On a 1 to 3, we'll force a mismatch. And on a 4 to 6, we will follow the order that the cards wound up in. It's a 1 to 2. Specifically, it's a 2. We're going to mismatch it. My favorite book is Neuromancer by William Gibson. It's, it's just perfect. And Gibson predicted basically everything about the internet before there was an internet. Not literally, like he didn't literally predict the technology as it is, but he predicted what it would do to people, what it would do to culture in a way that is undeniable. Big Neuromancer guy. I didn't care for the other ones in the series though, like Mona Lisa Overdrive and Count Zero. I don't know. I feel like he really caught lightning in a bottle with Neuromancer in a way that he never quite struck again. But anyways, the Moon, we're forcing a mismatch here. The Moon, wait, I don't write the Moon, I write the location associated with it, which is no, there's no place attached to it. It says someone given to the passions, dark or pale, animals. I guess the place is just animals. It's a place where there are animals. I guess that'll work. And then finally, the Moon, the 4 of Wands. a place unchanged for a very long time. All right. So we now have our initial read on some characters. A moron but likable, someone efficient and practical, someone dangerously obstinate, a religious leader, a fugitive or desperate person, someone who's online a lot. We have kind of this initial map, and then we have each person played into. And so already I can start making connections like a moron but likable at a hydroelectric plant. I'm picturing already, I have a visual of like if you work in trades a lot, you meet people where they're really pleasant and you like being around them, but they just do things suboptimally. They do things in inefficient or slow or convoluted ways because it's the way they were taught, and they don't have the wherewithal to change or optimize their behavior. And it can make working with them a drag, but being around them socially is really pleasant. Or like a goofy lighthouse keeper or something. I don't know. We've got something going on there. The one that I really like is online a lot and a Goodwill or Salvation Army. This sounds like a teenager. This sounds like a reasonably young person who is working in this. Oh, you see, yeah, a moron but likable at a higher drug. That's Homer Simpson's. Yeah, you're totally right, Dunder. It's so we have these connections. Now we get to the next part, which is I gotta flip to the back. There's so many tables in this book. It's just, and each one is really dense. Like they have just a lot going on. Let's start with, let's get some names going, because I don't want to just keep calling a person the, let's hold off on names. Let's get descriptions first. So on page 440 of your text, which I certainly hope you have acquired at this point, there is a D100 table of NPC quirks. So we have like big hair loves to take selfies, or sneezy, or clutching a soda and clearly confused. So we have that on a D100, and then parallel with it, like I don't know if you can see, there's like two columns on each page. Parallel with it, we have relationship to the next NPC. So like their connection to the next person on the list. And this is how, when I say we're going to shuck the oyster, that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a web where every character, every NPC has some kind of a connection to another NPC to pull you around left and right and back and forth. Tag 1080, it says, what software is this? It looks Canadian. Can I put that up here? Yeah, like that. This is called Word Grinder. It's a word processor with a console aesthetic, but what I like about it is that you can't do page formatting in it at all. It's just words. You just put words into it, and I like that the color scheme is not as glaring as a traditional word processor. Yeah, I just like it. I think it's neat. So let's get our deck of, at this point, we don't need our horror deck for this part. Because what we're doing is we're going to take the deck of numbers that we used to initially populate the horror deck. So just ace to 10, sorry. There's a 5 on the bottom of the deck. Ace to 10. And that's going to give us our... it's like a D100. Like you draw 2 cards and you put them together, and it's like rolling 2 D10s to get a D100. And that's kind of how the core mechanic of this game resolves. So you have a spread of results from like 1 to 10 or 0 to 10 if you have the fool. But it's not it's like as you play or other people draw, your odds are going to change and fluctuate. So it's not like you have a reliable 10% chance of a given result every time you draw. I don't know how this feels at the table yet. I haven't played the game. We're just reveling in the joy of rolling on tables and poking our imaginations. So, coming back up to our fool at the hydroelectric plant. What are they like? 46. Hasn't spoken in years. Now that's interesting. That hasn't spoken in years. Oh, I really hope that the water softener is not too loud in the background. It's the joys of rural living. That's why he's so likable. Yeah, because he doesn't talk. That's I've had days like that at work. I'll tell you. Mm, you'd like someone a lot more if they just didn't. But where'd my cursor go? There we go. Now, our efficient and practical person at the Gray Church is 27. He's not 27, but his result is 27. Gold grill, dresses in layers. That's something. I gotta think about that. What kind of person is connected to a grim church, but also wears a gold grill? We'll think about that. Then we've got 90 for our dangerously obstinate person. 90 being forgetful but loyal. Yep. The gold protects his enamel from acidic beverages. That's I don't know. Well, maybe we'll see. We'll see. 45 is hair makes a weird wave over their ears. So, team player, place with a strange door, goofy haircut. 36. Fat fingered and fumbling. Makes me think of a guy I know that was gangsta, covered in tattoos, gold teeth, and everything, but is a very normal, happy guy now. Actually, that might be something like a reformed, rough and tumble type who, for whatever reasons, maybe is holding on to that aesthetic for. Oh, there's a variety of reasons why someone might do that. Religious leader in deadly ground. I still haven't thought about what deadly ground is going to mean, but maybe it'll reveal itself in time. 91. Freakish and fun. One of those water slide pastors, one of those Mario Kart pastors. A charity worker connected to a vast estate, 96. Hungry and hot. We'll decide what type of hot that means. It's warm in Ontario right now, I tell you what, but maybe they're just good looking. 43. Hopeless and fatalistic. And these, I should note, these results, they seem like very specific, very like almost hyper specific, especially things like um, a member of a powerful family, or there's one, where would I saw it the other day? It's like a wise man in elegant footwear. Like it feels very specific, but by mismatching places and then also attaching like additional things, you can really generate a lot. Like, is elegant footwear like boat shoes? Is he kind of a preppy yacht sort of guy, or is elegant footwear like really nice cowboy boots, like Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men? Like you can kind of, I find that even with very specific oracles, random tables that give like seemingly overly specific results, by combining them with other things in raw text, you can then kind of, you get this lump of clay in a particular shape that you can then kind of hack away little details and clean it up a little bit. Oh, I can probably take tags comment down now. I don't need to leave it up like that. But yeah, so don't discount the possibility of further further use from a very specific set of random tables. Bowl cut maxing, that's good. All right. The online a lot, a Goodwill or a Salvation Army. 19. Breathy, ebullient, ebullient. I don't know what that word means. I've never seen that one before. What does ebullient mean? Cheerful and full of energy. Okay, it's like an enthusiastic up person with red hair. Makes me think of my cousin. He can be ebullient and red haired. I don't think he has worked at a Salvation Army though, or has a connection to a Salvation Army. But you never know. All right. We got here 27. Oh wait, we've gone all the way through the deck. I've got to shuffle here, mix it up, get new results. We only got 30 cards in here. Yeah, nice cowboy boots are very serious money. I got just like a well-made, properly fitted set of just regular cowhide boots at the Alberta Boot Company in Calgary, Alberta, and they were like $350. And this was back in like 2015, 2013, 2014, maybe 2015, like 10 years ago. They're like $350 for a regular pair of boots. My dream is, I always have wanted a pair of black cherry lizard boots like Javier Bardem wears in No Country for Old Men, because it's just the dark finish with the red veins in the crackles of the lizard skin. They're nice, very slick. But I don't have I don't have a particularly uh, ponderous boot budget right now. So, anyhows. All right. A jerk smug of aspect, with a vast, proud venture long in the making. Of course, I think of a vast, proud venture long in the making in Ottawa, and I think of just the Parliament buildings, like this huge, very ambitious building that's been restored and rebuilt multiple times and maintained over like 200 years. Like, well, actually, no, it wouldn't have been 200 years. We haven't had a Parliament for 200 years, but you know, at least that's where my thought goes is one of the old government buildings, but we might maybe not that long in the making. We'll see. We'll see what kind of person he is. 75. He's wearing a flimsy felt hat. What I like about these NPC characteristic results is like they're not. Some of them are personality, some of them are attire, some of them are like physical mannerisms, like sneezy or because the whole point is it's just to give like a real simple, just like a standout trait to help your characters remember who they are. So you say, oh yeah, he's the guy in the hat, or he's the cheerful redhead, the goofy ginger. That's that's something. Okay, 91. We already got that by coincidence. So um, let's just draw again. Get some variety here. We don't need two freakish and fun people at the same time. So on the boots, why are they so much? So for one, they are comfortable and reasonably waterproof. But the big thing is you gotta understand. I bought those boots. Now I have a hard time finding footwear that fits me. In terms of how wide my feet are, I'm a size 13. But in terms of how long my feet are, I'm a size 8. So finding footwear that's wide enough for my weird paddle feet is very irritating. And when I went to the boot company, I got fitted for like a quadruple wide boot, and then they measured my feet, they took my feet's dimensions, and they modified the boot to fit. Like my right side foot is slightly wider, and they hammered out the leather and shaped it to fit my toes. I have never owned a pair of footwear that fits my feet as well as those cowboy boots do. And the other big thing is that the durability of the leather is huge. I've had those boots for 10 years. I wear them not every day, but multiple times a week, outdoors in various weather conditions. And I've resold them. I've taken them to a saddlery and had the soles redone, I think 2 or 3 times over the course of the 10 years. And the leather on the top is still exactly as like in as good condition as it was the day I bought them. Like a really good, um, a good durable piece of boot is very worth it because they last a really long time. When I was at the store, this the saleswoman I was like, "What's the most expensive boot in here?" And she gestures elephant hide boots that they were a couple $1,000s, but she's like, "You will resole them dozens of times. You'll pass them to the kids and they'll resole them dozens of times. The leather's never going to wear out." And so it's one of those things where you pay more up front so that you don't have to keep paying for new boots every couple years. Um, all right, now who do we got here? 89. Can't hardly hear. It's an interesting contrast with never speaks that we have up higher. Can't hardly hear. And I hope the text is like readable on your end. I didn't pay for StreamYard, so I'm just in like 720. I hope it's like not. Yeah, you see exactly the Discworld work boot economics. It's real. It's real. I paid um I used to just like buy new steel toes every year when I was working outside a lot. And finally, I one year I got came into a little extra money around the Christmas holidays, and I just bought like I splurged on a pair of like nice good work boots, and I've had them for 7 years, and I've worked the piss out of those boots. Like they've been through mud and salt and various adhesives on them, and then scraped off of them, and they're still very comfortable and very durable. It was well worth it. Um. Anyways, oh hey, the subdeacon is here. Uh, my favorite. My favorite of my YouTube subscribers because I've met him in real life. Um, how have I gotten a 90? I get a 9 and an ace like multiple times here. Uh, it's been. I don't want another freakish and fun NPC. 23. Because this is the last one. This is the werewolf themselves. 23. Injured hand. Ooh. Injured hand, floral scarf. This is turning into quite the set of characters we've got. Um, we've got a gamut of characters, like what they're mostly like, a place they're connected with, and then a little quirk that'll help players remember them. So now that we've got these characters spread out, um, I think before we do relationships, let's do names just because it'll make it easier so that you don't keep talking about their card titles. I'm sure you didn't come off as a doofus, Dunder. Uh, you would never do that on a stream that matters. You would just do that like uh for one of the in group, one of the other bros. That's yeah, no, you put on a good face when you need to. Um, let's name these fools. And we'll actually name them at the start. 53. Oh, now I've gone to the page 444. There is tables of NPC names. There's 400 of them because there's first name and like there's 400 pairs, like 400 first name last name pairs. Um, we've got uh because there's one D100 table for each suit, and whichever the suit of the first card you draw, that's the suit that you'll have. Uh, oh, sorry. So tag, they're labeled 0A2 and so on and so forth. Because 0 is the fool. The fool is worth 0 in terms of like what card. Like when you draw a card in the system, it's it's a 0. It loses. It can never be the high card because it's a 0. It's like your crit fail roll. And then A is an ace because the ace of pentacles, the two of swords, the three of pentacles, the four of wands, and then up to 10. And then the number, the moon is the 18th card in your major arcana. So when you draw the moon, it's an 18. And so that's going to be like, that's going to be the, uh, this is a big card worth a lot of points. This is why I put the 0 in there so that it like kind of balances out with a high card and a low card. But yeah, I just have them numbered in order of like what their value is in the deck, and then from like lowest to highest. So without further ado, let's name these. Let's name these characters. I got a 53. So I think we're gonna. And wait, which was it? Oh, I didn't. Did I get a 53? I got a 54. I got a 54. And the first suit is hearts, which means cups. So 54. Marie, our likable moron, our likable mute moron, is a woman. This is the other thing. I like generating the names randomly because it's not sorted by like male names and female names. You just generate them. And again, Marie, but Marie who? I'm gonna do first and last name separately, just because because I can. 14 of swords. Marie Tibbs, the fool. We got 19 of swords. Shiny. That's no way. Hold up. 19 of swords. Yeah, the first name there is Shiny. And of course, this is our guy, the efficient and practical dude with the gold grill who dresses in layers. His name is Shiny. I guess that's a nickname. Um, that's so good. I love when tables do this to me. The 56 of wands. What is Shiny's last name? Talvola. Shiny Tal Shiny Talvola with his gold grill. So good. All right. 79 of Pentacles is Marta. But Marta who? 24 of Wands. Marta Blackbell. I noticed that at the very top of the Wands table of names, there's the name Louis Cipher, Lucifer. That's Robert De Niro's character in Angel Heart, one of the best occult investigation movies ever made. De Niro, he plays the devil, and he calls himself Louis Cipher. Uh, Very clever, very fun. I like that little. I love a little movie reference in my book. Um, Shiny should have a Cajun accent. I don't know if I can do a Cajun accent. I don't know if I'm ready to commit to that. 15 of Wands. Patsy. Patsy who? 69 of Wands. Patsy Hatfield. Ugh. You'll have to forgive me. I got one of these split ergonomic keyboards, and no, I did not try to do a Cajun accent, and I'm not going to right now. I'm sleepy. I can barely talk as it is. And you should watch Angel Heart. Warning, uh, it's bleak. It's real bleak, but it's so good. It's really, really, really good. 70 of cups. Tobias. Love a good Old Testament name. I think, is Tobias in the Old Testament? It's gotta be. It sounds very Bible-y. 70 of swords. Tobias Tovar. 62 of swords. Julian, our religious leader, our freakish and fun religious leader, which again, that just makes me think of like, sometimes your evangelical pastors, they can do silly things. I've been there. I've been to churches that do silly stuff from time to time. Maybe not Mario Kart sermon silly, but Anyways, 18 of cups. Lion. Julian Lion, or we are in Ontario, so maybe it's Julian Leon. 83 of swords. R. Oh, just a first initial. R. 39 of swords. R. Halsey. These names are just, I want to do the names before I do the last step for the night, then I'm going to call it, just because it'll make things easier if I do it that way. Just because you'll see in a minute. 85 of Pentacles. Taylor. No, it's the first name. Doug. What do you call a man with no arms and no legs making a hole in the ground? Doug. What do you call a man with no arms and no legs in a hole in the ground? Phil. 23 of Pentacles. Doug Apt. What do you call a man with no arms and no legs hanging on the wall? Art. We've gone through the deck here. I got to reshuffle. What do you call a man with no arms and no legs sitting on your front step? Matt. What do you call a man with no arms and no legs on the side of a mountain? Cliff. Okay. One downside about getting cards at the dollar store, they just don't shuffle good. They shuffle good like exactly once when you take them out of the box, and then they just get sticky so fast. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot Bob. What do you call a man with no arms or legs floating in the ocean? Thunder, I have no idea. I have no idea. 46 Pentacles. Liu. We have a Chinese name. Used to, for work and school reasons, I used to hang around the Ottawa Chinatown a lot. I used to go to a church there, and one of my favorite things about the Ottawa Chinatown is that there's a bunch of pho restaurants, like the Vietnamese noodles, and there's like 3 or 4 of them called Pho Bo Ga La, which is, of course, it just means like pho restaurant, or like pho is here. It just tells you what the place is. It's not actually like a branding thing. It's like calling it something convenience store or tavern or whatever. But Pho Bo Ga La, there's like, I think 3 or 4 of them, maybe, like my memory tells me 5, but there probably wasn't actually 5. But there was multiple Pho Bo Ga Las. But then also on that same street in Chinatown, there was a Pho Bo Ga King. And I used to always say that, oh, in Chinatown there are many Pho Bo Ga La, but there can be only one Pho Bo Ga King. Anyways, Blue. 94 of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. That's a mouthful. Blue Granados Jimenez. So we have a Chinese first name and then a very obviously Spanish last name. I'll have to think about that. How I want that to manifest. 53 of Swords. Sarah. Sarah. Simply love me and forget your baby brother. 28 of Cups. Divine. Sarah Divine. Who is a jerk, smug of aspect, and a part of a vast, proud venture long in the making. Wears a flimsy felt hat. She's turning into a very odd character. I'm not sure what I'll do with her. We'll see. 86 of Cups. Almost done. The names here. Forrest. I don't actually think I've ever met someone named Forrest. Like, obviously there's Forrest Gump and Forrest Whitaker. I don't think you can, dude. I think that felt hat will ruin your life. Big Mike at Earth is making me run a 20 regiment peltist and pilot battle for him. Oh, time for bed. Okay. Thanks for hanging out, dude. I didn't expect anybody to show up. When I stream at midnight, I just kind of assume that I'm basically like recording something live for people to view later. So it's always nice to actually have some people hanging around. Sleep tight. All right. Forrest. Who? I was going to say, but yeah, Forrest Gump and then my Forrest Whitaker. Which, if you've ever seen Last King of Scotland, Forrest Whitaker plays the African dictator Idi Amin, and he's just disturbing. He's very unsettling in the role. But of course, my favorite Forrest Whitaker movie is Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai, because that movie's, well, it actually might be my favorite Jim Jarmusch movie. Don't quote me on that, but I think it probably is. 61 of Wands. Stormy. Oh no, that's the first name. Emin. Forrest. Ugh. No, I didn't want to do that. I keep clicking back and forth between the window of the stream and the window of the word processor. Forrest. Emin. I am an amateur. Not good at this. 13 of Wands. We've gotten a lot of Wands results, it feels like. All right. Our werewolf's name is Kareem. And 37 again of Wands. Kareem Healy. Who am I thinking of with the last name Healy? Jeff Healy, the guitarist, the blind guy. Plays his guitar like upside down in his lap or something. All right. We've got our names. We have our broad characteristics. Now, the last thing we're going to do tonight, and then I'm going to save this and we'll pick it up on another night. I've got a long drive tomorrow, so I thought maybe I'd do 2 hours, but I think that's probably a very stupid decision. So, we're back to the yellow page, because now we're going to do relationship to next NPC. So like Marie's relationship to Shiny, Shiny's relationship to Marta, Marta's relationship to Patsy, Patsy to Tobias, all the way down until we get from Forrest to Kareem, and then Kareem, we're gonna loop back around. Uh, if you know, use silver bullets, Kareem Healy. Oh no, Kareem heals. Oh, that's you're good. You do have children. Only a dad could pull that out that slick. My goodness. Well done. All right. But we'll loop back from Kareem up to Marie. So you get like this like feedback loop of connections. And yeah. So what is Marie's relationship? Ooh, no. What is Marie's relationship to Shiny Talvola, the efficient and practical man with the gold grill? Which the gray church and the gold grill and kind of his ostentatious perspective, I definitely think Shiny knows our religious leader Julian Lyon, the goofy pastor, because I think that Shiny probably goes to his church. I think his gray church is Julian's church. But Julian is also secretly a cult leader, connected with Deadly Ground. Still don't know what I'm going to make of Deadly Ground. I don't know what that means yet. But we're going to get there. Okay. 20. Oh, that's broad. I'll have to think about that for a while. Wants to hurt Shiny, but is bound by something not to do so directly. Interesting. It's Cajun restaurant. All right, 67. Shiny makes use of Marta, which I think that tells us that it is not a small business. It is a drug front. That settles it. Marta is Shiny's dealer. Of what? We don't know. $14. Marta. Oh, this is good. Is unaware of Patsy and where did it go? Is unaware of Patsy, and this is dangerous. Oh, good to see you, Dunder. Thanks for coming in. Obviously, it's quite late. Um, good to have you. All right. Rules of engagement in the cult prevent infighting. Now, Shiny and Marie are not in the cult. The only ones in the cult are Patsy, Julian, and Forrest because they're tagged with a C. That C there means that I pulled their cards from the cult stat block of the horrors section in the book. So Julian is the cult leader. No, sorry, no. Forrest Emmon is the cult leader, the Ten of Pentacles. Julian Lyon is connected to the cult leader in some important fashion, like as a member of the cult, but is not the cult leader himself. So he's a pastor of a church, but he's a member of a cult that he is not the leader of. And then Patsy Hatfield is simply a cult member. The only cult member who's important enough to have a name. I do like that the minion of the cult is named Patsy. That feels That feels cosmically appropriate. But so is unaware of Patsy, and this is dangerous. So Marta is a drug dealer, unaware of Patsy, the cult member. And this is dangerous. We'll have to think about why that's dangerous. But for now, what does Patsy think about Tobias? 26. Patsy will be unstoppable once allied with Tobias. Interesting. Tobias is a family member connected to a sheer drop, fat-fingered and fumbling. If he's going to make Patsy unstoppable once she can ally herself with Tobias, then I think that maybe that means that family member refers to family member. Tobias Tovar is a made man. Not necessarily a powerful one, but he's connected enough with a family that Patsy could leverage the mafia connection for the cult. Yeah, so we're gonna just actually just put in brackets here. Family member, mob. So now we're starting to get juices real flowing. Yeah, strange door. I think you say the strange door maybe an entrance to the temple. I think like Patsy's got her house has a weird door, and that's like how people find it. It's like, oh, like the invitation, it says, yeah, go to this street and look for the door, the yellow door or something. And look up the last name, see what kind of crime family. Yeah, like what kind of family member. Like obviously your major crime families, your major organized crime elements in Ottawa is the mafia, the less so now than it used to be, the Italian mob, Lebanese organized crime, and then Hell's Angels. But yeah, if there's no like obvious ethnic mob that we could connect Tobias Tovar to, he could be a Hell's Angel, which would like work thematically with the whole werewolf thing. Like, werewolves and bikers go together like peanut butter and chocolate. So, but in the meantime, how does Tobias feel about Julian? 83 is wary of Tobias. I think that's probably a good, modest, neutral kind of response. 95, Tobias. Oh, 95 just says to throw twice more. So Julian feels two different things about R. Halsey. The first is 57. Schemes with. Sorry, I didn't mean Tobias is wary of Tobias. Tobias is wary of. Thank you for catching that. Julian schemes with and $70 is brother of R. Halsey. Now, they have different last names, Lyon and Halsey, but they're brothers. Is that stepbrother? Is that brother-in-law, perhaps? Maybe Julian is married to Halsey's sister or something. That's details that we can figure out later. We're just building a crude web right now. But he definitely has like a positive relationship because he's both family to Halsey and he schemes with him. Halsey's charity worker connected to a vast estate, uh, who and is hungry and hot. Um, R. Halsey. Interesting. We'll see here. Maybe the R stands is a. You don't see it often, but maybe R. Halsey is a woman. Um, and that's like why there's a different name, and she took her husband's last name. I don't know. We'll see. No, R. Halsey's a dude. I think 90. Throw twice again. Okay. R. Halsey, 45, is impersonating .49 is impersonating and married to Doug. Okay. So R. Halsey is not a dude. But then Doug Apta. Halsey is not the werewolf. Halsey's not eating people. Hungry, I think, refers to like ambitious. At least that's the read I'm getting. You only have one thing eating. And that's the werewolf. That's Kareem Healy. All right. I'm fading here. Got to get through this. 61. Doug is impersonating and married to Doug. What kind of double indemnity, double cross, insurance fraud is this? I don't know. Anyways, Doug, 61, seeks the services of Lou, definitely shouldn't have an E there. What kind of services? Yeah, there is definitely. This is the thing about these tables, is it'll produce, once you start stacking multiple tables in like parallel columns and linking them together, you're gonna get like a very, like I said, it's part one, shucking the oyster. We're getting like shucked oyster levels of just insane, but like petty and very personal, low stakes scheming back and forth and secrets. And yeah, we're gonna. It's getting good. It's getting good. But seek services of Lou. Lou. Now Lou must be a bit of an unusual looking person, with a Chinese first name and a Spanish last name and red hair. I feel like it's not dyed. I feel like it's like a natural mutation ginger, which would mean that Granados Jimenez is probably not Hispanic, like South or Central American, but rather like Spanish, like your white European Spanish. Yeah, adopted maybe, but that doesn't account for the red hair. Um, we'll see. All right. Anyways, Lou, 19. Lou desires. Ugh. desires Sarah's home. Sarah, 82, Sarah is obsessed with Forrest. I'm going to assume romantically. Forrest, the cult leader. I think Sarah's probably on her way to being a cult leader due to her obsession with Mr. Emmon. 35. Can't hardly hear. Seeks the capture of Kareem. So I think Forrest knows that Kareem is a werewolf and is trying to contain him. And I think I'm just going to run and say it. Cursed him. The cult is the reason that Kareem has the werewolf curse. But their hope was like to turn him into a werewolf so they could use him for their own nefarious ends, only for him to turn out to be basically feral and uncontainable. And now Kareem is trying to capture him, and not Kareem, Forrest is trying to capture him and like bring him back under the control of the cult. So Kareem's holed up. He's at a place unchanged for a very long time. I think I think that's probably a piece of natural forest that's unchanged for a long time, like somewhere that is he's like holed up in the woods somewhere, werewolfing out. Old growth forest. Well, what's the oldest growth forest in the Ottawa Gatineau area? I'll have to look at a map. um Maybe there is actually somewhere in the Greenbelt that will qualify as that. Somewhere natural, woodsy, where he prowls. I mean, there's the Mare Blue Bog, the big bog. There's some like boardwalk walking trails through it where he could like prey on people. I mean, the whole point of the Greenbelt was to like keep the forest, keep like that area more natural. Gillies Grove in Arnprior. How big is that? How big is Gillies Grove? Can you find that for me while Yeah, Bog would be good too. Arnprior is a little far for kind of the zone that I'm thinking of, but it's not untenable. So 83 is Kareem. No, we already have an 83 because that's is where. What about, let's invert it. 38. Kareem is allied with Marie to loop it back around. Which, okay, I like that a lot. I like that result because if we have our werewolf living in a forest, we need. I'm gonna have to do some Googling, looking around here, but a place of like relatively untouched nature that's close to a hydroelectric dam, because Marie Tibbs is attached to a hydroelectric plant, and or maybe the place that's untouched for years is the hydroelectric plant, like an old power plant, and she's basically hiding him, keeping him safe and hidden. She's a moron, but she hasn't spoken in years. She wants to hurt Shiny, but is bound by something not to do so directly. This gives us a lot to like. It's I can already see some kind of the broad strokes of the emergent drama here. We have this man who's cursed to be a werewolf by a cult, and there's like a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon between him and the cult. And this not literally mute, but like voluntarily mute woman who works at a hydro plant is keeping him safe from this cult. We have see, this is what I'm talking about. So I think to make an action plan, like what do we need to do next time? Next time, I think we need to so there's tables in here that indicate of like a cult, like a ritual. You know what? Yeah, let's do. So there is next time we're gonna generate a spooky ritual, the result of which is the cursing of Kareem Healy with lycanthropy. Now, something I might do between now and the next time I stream this, I might do a little bit of extra. Namely, I might do syzygetic pairs for Ace through 10, which is to say not Kareem and not Marie, but everyone involved in like kind of the mess of drugs and occult spookiness in town, where we match uh, 9 and 10, which 10 like is 0, like match 9 and 10, and then each pair that adds up to 9. So Ace and 8, 6 and 3, 4 and 5, 7. Sorry, yeah, 7 and 2. I'm totally I'm losing myself here. I'm gonna probably make a couple extra connections, maybe, just to kind of pad things out. But I mean, there's already actually no, I don't think I will because there's already a lot going on here. There's already a lot happening that I can kind of fill out, so to speak. Let's look at the table of contents for the section on random tables. See what kind of tables do we have here that we could use. Hold on. There's a method of death and murder motives. The murder motive might tell us, instead of murder motive, but like, why was Kareem targeted for this curse by Forrest? But like, just this whole stream was to show off the generative potential in these random tables, and I want you to. I'm going to read off the. I'm going to read off a set of just the table of contents for the tables. Clues, more clues, and clues include things like a Hertz rent-a-car receipt, or a cookie tin full of cash, or keys or cell phone, some batteries, an iPod, that sort of thing. Like, it gives definitely clues, more clues, grudges, cop quirks, criminal organizations, crime lord schemes, cultist schemes. Which actually, you know what? Let's just quickly roll that right now. What is the scheme of this cult 10? What is their actual objective? And I just got a 10. To disguise familial and genetic links between cult sacrifice victims by attributing the death to disease. to rare disease. Holy smokes, that's a mouthful. Disguise, familial, or genetic links between cult sacrifice victims by attributing to rare disease. And you know what? I'm willing to bet. Yes, the top of page 437 does in fact say stabbed in the neck with a napkin. Wait, they're getting their victims through Halsey's charities. Oh. Oh, and Halsey's not a cult member. So Halsey might be in on the scheming of human trafficking and entirely unaware of the sacrifice angle. That's the thing about a conspiracy, is that people only need to know what they need to know for the conspiracy to operate, and they're kept in the dark for as many details as possible. Holy smokes, you're right. No, the Halsey is definitely providing the cult with sacrifice victims. We're gonna add that right now. All right. But now, anyways, we were reading off the table of contents. Okay. Cultist schemes, NPC personality, method of death, murder motives, method of death, gore mode. The gore mode table for method of death is nuts. There's some really gnarly, freaky, weird murders on that particular table. Anyhow, NPC traits, NPC relationship, NPC occupations, random NPC names, outside and in the way, obstacles in the woods. So those two are parallel tables of like things you might encounter or things that might be in between you and your objective in town and in the woods. And they're really funny because it goes from like something in your way in town might be a damaged fence or a man selling oranges from a cart. It might be a mime. It might be, where was one? A guy going, Christ was a fisher of men. A drug dealer and a lowrider. A tiny Michael Jackson impersonator. Gawkers watching TV through an electronics store window. Like, chase scene obstacles that might bother you. And then there's on the opposite page the same thing, but for things that you might encounter with thick briars, an abandoned campsite, a lost horse, a meth lab, a burning meth lab, a burned down meth lab, a deer corpse, a rotten log full of snakes, etc. That sort of thing. Like, you just got a lot going on there. Vehicle damage, so like things that can happen during a car chase. Buildings, exploitable room features, good place for a fight. Where can I get a drink around here? Where's the nearest place I can get a blank? Puzzles, problems, and mystery setups. Ritual location. Ritual specific location, urban. Ritual perimeter made out of. Ritual outer geometry. Ritual time. Ritual length. Ritual participant identity. Ritual preparations. Ritual sacrifice details. Ritual supernatural effects. Curses, breaking curses. How a spell effect is carried. The menace is drawn to blank. Horde mutations. Like, there's just, and he packs it all in, like, the tables is only like that much of the book, and it's so dense. Not even to get into all of the juicy details that you can encounter in all the juicy details you might get out of your monster section and the descriptions of the horrors. Now, these tables are wonderful, and they really, really feed into each other in a way that produces a super satisfying and bizarre setup. Tobias is wary of Julian because he's also in on the human trafficking, and the numbers aren't adding up. So he's like, yeah, we're trafficking people, but like, hold up, where's victim number 614 or whatever? It's like, oh, he definitely wasn't sacrificed in the woods to my occult god. Definitely not. Yeah, okay, that's great. Um, that's going in there too. Um, and of course, the family member mob. That's why he's in on the human traffic. He's like the criminal variable there. Um, all right, it's late, and I need to go to bed. Um, but like this is there's a lot to work with here. Um, and we'll return. I want to say next week. I really want to say next week, but it might be in a couple weeks. But we will return to this scenario. And the next thing I think is to generate a spooky ritual, the result of which is the cursing of Cream Healy, because that the site of that ritual can be the initial scene or the initial like the crime scene that the characters that draw the characters into the investigation. Because at the end of the day, I want detectives. I want real police officers. I'd probably run this scenario for players playing cops, or at the very least, private cops, private investigators. And so the scene of a crime. I think the crime is definitely a ritual sacrifice that imbued the wolf spirit into uh, poor Mr. Healy. Poor, tragic Mr. Healy. We will return to this later, but in the meantime, thank you for hanging around there, Subdeacon, and the other people who have been lurking previously. And we'll see you all later. Ending stream now.